All right, we are covering the leadoff sentences that are going to be in your, or the leadoff sentence, and there are going to be multiple options that you can include and should include and will include and must include at the bottom of your introduction, where you'd normally put your thesis. And I'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, sorry for the glare. All right, so I'm going to share screen right away and work you through a PowerPoint, and I'm hoping in doing so it makes sense to you. Okay, here we go. All right, the leadoff statements, like thesis statements, but really not. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, they're designed to launch us into your analysis, right, of your debate topic without telling us what your final judgment is. You need to be able to tell us, hey, we need to look at both sides of this debate without telling us which side has won. Because if you tell us, hey, we're going to look at this debate, this is the better side, let's go, you've kind of spoiled the ending. You told us who the murderer is without us having to like go along with the mystery. We don't want to do that. It's much better if you say at the end, let's go through the evaluation process together. Let's look at this debate. Let's look at both sides of this debate. Let's work our way through it with the idea that at the end, you finally say, okay, now that we've gone through this journey together, here is what we've determined. Okay. So, again, as it says in the orange box here, by holding back your judgment, your essay becomes more exploratory, right? It's, hey, let's go on this journey together, that kind of thing. They're with you in real time, and you don't spoil the ending. Okay. It also gets you out of the habit, which I think is important, of always thinking that the introduction has to end with a thesis. It doesn't. Sometimes the thesis is in the conclusion, which yours will be for this one, rather than the introduction. Okay. Next, it does not have your judgment or opinion in it, right? What you are telling us is there are two sides of a debate, and you are going to be evaluating them against one another to determine who's winning on what points. Okay. Again, your judgment comes in the conclusion. So your leadoff statement or question clearly indicates some form of analysis is coming. You can do this one of two ways: an open-ended question that you would answer in your final judgment thesis, or you'll make a statement about your intention to analyze an argument. Don't use I, you can use readers or we instead. Okay. So, as an example, remember we are working through Singer and Hardin in class, which means you are not writing about them directly. But let's say we were. Singer and Hardin argue whether it is the ethical obligation of wealthier nations to support those with fewer resources, or those developing nations must instead learn to care for themselves. But what is the most sound position and why? So notice I haven't told you which side I'm on. I've told you the two sides of the debate, and then I say which one's the most sound position and why. Option two, Hardin and Singer disagree over what actions a nation with ample resources should take, preserving those resources or sharing them. Ye should be we must carefully examine both sides of this debate before deciding what argument is more convincing. I'll fix the typo later. Hardin and Singer stand in opposition to one another regarding the best path forward for struggling nations. So readers need to dissect their arguments and evaluate which position is strongest. And that's what you'll do. Okay. So, what does all this mean? You're just trying to get a clear indication, or give a clear indication to your reader that your evaluation of the debate is coming. It indicates purpose. That's where it's similar to a thesis. It's going at the end of the intro and it's telling your readers your overall purpose or goal for the essay. It's just not revealing that judgment. Okay, so it's got 2/3 of the thesis qualities in it. It's covering the subject for the essay. It's telling me about the purpose. It's just leaving that opinion out until much later. Okay, I'm hoping this makes sense. We will be continuing to work on this. There's going to be a discussion post number 6 where you're going to give me both your leadoff statement or question, your choice, and your final judgment thesis. Those are going to be 2 different posts, but in discussion number 6 over the next 2 weeks, right? That's the key here. It's going to be over the next 2 weeks. So I'm hoping this makes sense. And as always, we're going to have time in class, and we have email opportunities and office hour opportunities to go over this together so that you feel confident that you know what you're supposed to be doing and you're going to be able to do it well. All right. Take care.